Hi guys, welcome to my what I did in December. It is technically a whip parade, but it's 24 of my whips because I worked on 24 things in December. Um, I'm assuming I'm really only talking to my little tribe. I inhabit a very small corner of Floss Tube. Um, so hello to my familiar people who stop by and watch me every time. And hello if you've just jumped on because I have actually put a bit of a whip parade because it's whip parade time. My actual whip parade I'm going to try and post on the 1st of January. I am collating for that. If you don't know me, I have a lot of whips. For me, it's gone from actually in 2020 was my first whip parade, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I had 24 whips and I thought that was a lot. I did a 2-hour whip parade with 24 whips. So the whip parade I did last year was a lot more, 57, and I've also finished some things this year, but I've also added a lot. Notably, I've added 12 in December because I did the 12 starts in December, which I found I couldn't resist. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about my proper whip parade, which hopefully January the 1st will appear. So if you're new and you like the sort of things that I stitch, this will give you a good broad overview of the things that I stitch, bar my full coverage pieces, because I don't think I worked on, I think I tried to step away from full coverages in my advent. If you subscribe would be nice, but if you keep me in mind, and then when my whip parade comes up you'll see the whole lot. I may or may not, if I do show these, it will be very briefly because obviously we've got a lot to get through for that one. Okay, so I do Flossmas every year. This was my 4th year of Flossmas. I did 2020, 21, 22 and 23. And I do post every day, regardless of my work schedule, regardless of how tired I am. It's always a good indication of how exhausted I am as you go through Flossmas, and how unseasonal I felt this year. But I made myself an advent, and so that I had something to open, I pulled 12 pretty much unloved whips, things that were either just not touched, I hadn't got to, and I found myself 12 new starts. Now for me, I kind of cheated because 6 of my new starts were on the same pattern. I bought a pack of 10 bug pieces. Right, I'm going to start putting pictures up. I bought a pack of 10 online on Etsy from a lady from Ukraine, and I'd had them in my basket for a long time, and I finally just thought, right, it's a good time to do them, and I used 6 of them as 6 starts, and they're not small. To give you an idea, the 7-inch hoop I'm working in is, they might need to be framed in an 8-inch hoop, so they're not like smalls, they're that sort of size, but I've counted them as individual whips in this instance. For the purposes of my whip parade, they will go to one whip because technically it's one pattern, but they will go to one whip. So what I did was I made myself out of wrapping paper. I didn't even buy bags. I just made myself 24 paper bags and put in a whip in 12 of them and a new start in 12 of them. I laid them out on the floor, and I got somebody else to stick stickers on them with days of the week, with the numbers 1 to 24. New starts were in one pile and whips were in another. And I think the whips got evens and the new starts got odds. So, and then I put them in my box and didn't touch them, so I couldn't feel, because some of my whips have got very obvious needle minders. I've got a Clay by Kim needle minder on one of the pieces I worked on, and it would be obvious as soon as I picked up the bag what was in it. And in the odd bags I put a little giveaway, so that on an odd day I pulled the giveaway, and on an even day I gave away the giveaway. Now, again, if you know me, you know how disorganised I am. I have posted all my Flossmas giveaways, apart from the one that I'm going to draw today, which was, I said I'd give away on the 24th. And 2 people have not got back to me. I'm not going to chase you up, guys. If you did get called and you haven't messaged me on Instagram, the giveaways just go back into the pot. But this is your kind of our last heads up that somebody with a handle called Mad Isifi. I can only give you your floss. What's it called? YouTube like username. Won something on the 13th to 14th December, and Evelyn Barola won something on the 7th to 8th. So this is your last call. If I don't hear from you before the new year, well, before I sort of do the next video, that's kind of time up, because I've actually done it. I've posted everything else. People got back to me, absolutely brilliant, and I did it. So they're done, they're posted. I'm currently up to date. Father 2 I have not heard from, I can't help that, but if you are watching this and you missed a few videos, then do message me on Instagram before it goes back in the pot. And also, I think 2 of the people who won giveaways from me, I owed them giveaways from 2021, and they got something. One of the giveaways I could not find. One I could, and that was fine, and one I couldn't, and I've sent you a little in lieu of, because I know I was outstanding a couple. People who still owed a giveaway from 2021, I still have them. I still, honestly, am planning on sending you them. So a couple of people might have had a little something turn up in the post and they've gone, what on earth? But it's an outstanding. I've still got a couple to go. Anyway, by the by, this is going to be long, I can see. I have a small window. It is 20 to 10 in the morning. I'm at work at 12, so I do have an hour now, but we'll see how I get along. Okay, so every day I pulled a bag, and I worked on it for that day. So on the 1st of December, I pulled a new start, and it was the first of my bug series, and it was this dragonfly. And I decided afterwards, after we'd finished with Flossmas, that I would try and get each one to 20%. And I kind of have. I'm still working on the butterfly. I'll admit I haven't quite got there with the butterfly, but only because I've just come to the realisation that I have got to do a lot of stitches in my bookshelf to get that to its point for the month. So let me find the dragonfly, 21.15. So I'm here with the dragonfly, and this is where it currently is. So you can see they're not that small. I'm doing them on 18 count Ada. Light's not too bad today. So there's my dragonfly. That's where I've come to a stop with the dragonfly. So I'm really pleased with my progress on these guys. And the second thing I pulled on the 2nd of December was an Emma Congdon pattern, You're All Kinds of Amazing, which I found in a magazine, World of Cross Stitch, I think, magazine. And this is where I got to with this. Again, I did put a little bit of extra work into it because I didn't get a lot of progress on the day. So basically, I finished off this flower. I stitched all of this off here, and that might very well have been it. But now this one here, I want to get on and stitch more on next year. It's lovely. I'm doing it not in the called for DMC. I'm doing it in like a sort of anchor threads I had, and it's kind of a slightly muted tone down, and I kind of like it. So that was the 2nd. On the 3rd, I pulled a Barbara Anna pattern, which I'll put here, which is the snail, the Santa riding the snail, and there is a very small start in this. And that's all I got done on the first day there. I'm holding it the wrong way around, so I started in the corner of this beautiful piece of sparkly natural, is it linen? I think it's Lugana. And I did the zigzag down here to set the side, and then I jumped across to the snail and did a little bit of his shell. So I need to get on and put some more into this. This is a very small piece. I could box this out quite quickly with a little bit of concentration. And then the following day, I pulled the Shores of Hawk Run Hollow, which is a very big WIP, but I hadn't, in 2023, I hadn't finished my block for the year. I try and do a block for the year. I've still not finished the block for the year, and I really should. So there's where I am on the block. It's a lot more done than it was. I did get quite a good chunk of progress into this. This is where this piece is, and this is obviously the 4th year I've been stitching on it, 1 block a year. I'm going to try and get this block done and another block done next year. There's not a lot of stitching left in this block for 2 pins. There we go, the lights just hit beautifully. Next year I really could just get on with this. I'm changing up everything on it. I'll explain a little bit more in my WIP parade, because obviously this is one of my main pieces. And after that, that's the 4th, and then the 5th, I pulled Shannon Christine, the winter stamps. Where are they? They should be here. Here we go. The winter stamp collection, and I got 2 stitched. So I should have just put a picture up here, look. There's a picture of what the 6 look like. They were irresistible to me. It's not the pattern I went on to buy, but there appeared to be 2, so I bought them both. So I did the Santa, I did the mittens, and I've just started the border of a 3rd. So that's what I got done. That was over maybe, if I didn't think I got much progress, or I didn't have to hand what I needed to do for the next day, I did a little bit more. So some of them have had a bit more work. The bugs certainly have had more work on them. So that was Shannon Christine. And then the following day, which was the 6th, I pulled Santa Quill. Please note my organisation, people who know me. Please note my organisation. I have written out what day, what I pulled, what the prize was, and who won it. And then I ticked them if I had their address, and once I posted it, I scrawled it out. I was actually organised. So Santa Quill, which I started last year, I worked down, it's now here. I worked down and finished off the trees, did the edge of the house, did the roof of the house. Not a great deal done, it's a little bit of progress considering I hadn't worked on it for nearly a full year. I'm doing this in a dinky dye Quicksilver on a beautiful piece of Weeks dye work. It's purple. Don't know what purple it's called, but it is that colour. That's the colour it is. For once, it's showing colours right. Here we go. So that was my WIP. And then the following day, I pulled out Cowpile, Plum Street Samplers, which I had started a terrible start right back at the beginning of my stitching journey. And I restarted it on a little tiny piece of Seafoam, Weeks Dye Works Seafoam, I think this is. Actually, it's a tiny piece. It's literally like a 9 by 11, I think. Not 9. Yeah, it might be 9. And that's where I got to. I did the darker colour of 2.5 cows. And that was 1 day stitching. There we go. They are grey. 1 day stitching. But, hey ho. On we truck. And then the following day, which was the 8th, I pulled an old, proper, big old piece, actually in a bag. I pulled out Dilemma, a long dog sampler, and did a day working on the border. And it's still got the pattern joined on and everything. So it's quite easy to see, because I can see from my pen what I did. Here is where it is. And what I worked on was this bottom box here. And there is a big, big, big pink mark on that. Oh, it's the bit underneath. It's the folder stitching underneath. I just had the horrors then that something was on this, because this is silk and I won't be washing it. Hence why I keep it in a bag. I finished down here, came along and did this bit here. So a little bit of progress, but nothing outstanding. Bear in mind, I did work most of December and went away for a couple of days. I did have a week off, but it was pretty busy. I didn't get as much stitchy time as maybe I would have had if I didn't work. But ooh, I had a toast delivery. That is good news. Thank you. and yeah, so that was Dilemma. And then I had a new start of Happily Ever After, which is, oh, I don't need to put in a picture for this. I've got the print out here. Oh, cats are going to go for my toast. Sid. Sid's just immediately come for my toast. Cute. There we go. Right. So here's Happily Ever After, which I'm going to stitch now. I've been holding on to it, but I'm going to stitch. It's actually dated 2025, so I think that's a good date. I probably will get this done by 2025. Optimistically, I won't get it done in 2024, will I? Unless I use this as a piece that I only stitch on and nothing else, which isn't the way I roll. So there we go. That's Happily Ever After. And here is my rather paltry start. This was not a big stitchy day for me. I don't even genuinely know which way up I am. I started in the middle and I did the outline of 3 boxes and a bit on this beautiful piece of fabric that I dyed myself. It's going to be done in greys and whites, which will stand out on this very, very marly splodgy fabric. So that needs work. This one I will work on sooner rather than later because it needs some more work. We need a bit of progress in this, but that's not very much done on Happily Ever After. It is in Pattern Keeper. Let me find it. There. All of 2.37%. I did 365 stitches, which if that was a whole day stitching, it's not much. Shannon Christine, the winter stamps, I did that's 33% of the pattern. That's 2. There's 6. So that's fair dues. Okay. Oh, and the following day I had my ongoing Renato Parolin. Things with Friends. Never sure what it's called. We're never ever sure what it's called. It's here. I did pick Colonial Blue. I'm going to finish it into a pillow of some description, probably a little bit like this. Yeah, I've been going on this for a couple of years. Let's have a look, see if it turns up in my WIP parade. Renato Parolin. Let's see. Renato Parolin with Friends. Yes, I was working on it in 2020. So yeah, we're going into year 4 of this. It needs to be done. And I'm about half done. And I'm still about half done. I did a little bit of border. So it is on a piece of Colonial Blue. Just straight, so I got, you're gonna, I think it's 28 count, probably. And it was at the halfway point, which is right in the middle here, and I stitched this bit of border. So that's what I got done there. That bit of border. Thank you. Coffee arrived. This is great. So that was day 10. So you can see it was a WIP, a new start, a WIP, a new start, and it was just a good way of giving myself a surprise without overspending. Yes, I bought some Ada. Yes, I bought 3 or 4 patterns. I bought the Shannon Christine design patterns. I bought the Brab Anna. I bought the Bugs. So supporting 3 quite, I assume Barbara Anna's pretty big, Shannon Christine's pretty big, but supporting, you know, designers and a few bits of fabric. Black Ada because I don't generally hold Black Ada because black. But to be fair, I'm doing alright with it. It's not that much of a problem. Okay, the following day I got the Ladybird. Let me find the Ladybird. Ladybird is at 27.57. So I did quite a lot of the Ladybird, and there's the Ladybird. Mostly solid stitching there. I haven't done the black yet. The black's still to go. I did quite a lot of black on the Wasp, which really shows up nicely. Here's me going, oh my god, have I got it? Yes, I've got it because I've organised them and they're in order. what is wrong with me? Who is this? I can almost guarantee my WIP parade will not be like this. There we go, there's the ladybird. So that was day 11. And then the following day, I pulled a long dog new normal, which I had stalled on. And usually when I pull things out, I realise why I stall on them. I stalled on the new normal because I didn't like the way my Prancy pony was coming out. Now my new normal is now here. And the problem with my Prancy pony is I couldn't see him. Now the more of him I've stitched, I actually joined up the bubble and did a bit more of Prancy pony here. And this is all I've stitched on it this year. So in the WIP parade you'll see where it was last year and you'll see where it is now. But I've decided what I'm going to do with Prancy pony. I'm going to pull a colour, probably this one here, and I'm going to either stitch, probably just going to fill him in. I'm going to stitch him in so that he's not hidden because I couldn't see him. And so I put it away. I can see him just about, but I think I'm going to colour him in. I think I'm going to stitch him in, which is more work obviously, but if it's that between that and finishing a piece or UFOing and a piece of beautiful Be Stitch Me fabric, the cats are chasing each other in the other room, which is very entertaining. Cosmo's being told off because he's bad. Chasing dear old Nancy around. So anyway, beautiful piece of Be Stitch Me fabric needs to be stitched on. So you can look at the bag. It's got the new normal long dog sampler 1/1 on 40 count. Who am I? Okay, that was that. And then I got the butterfly. And the butterfly, I haven't got to 20%. I'm at 1905, so I'm nearly there with the butterfly. And here is the butterfly. There. So I was stitching on her yesterday in my break at work, hence why it's just been plopped down as it's been. And I found this flexible hoop. Actually, I gave it to my mum and she gave it me back because she finished her piece into a bag. She goes, I don't like this, have it back. And oh my goodness, they're marvellous to stitch in. I appreciate I'm going to have marks on the fabric, which I'm assuming I'm going to be able to get out, or I think it's just about, I mean, it's not central, obviously I'll be moving this around quite a bit because it's not in line or anything, but when they're done, I think this is a 8-inch hoop, I think this is the size they're going to sit in, and I'll just get ordinary hoops and paint them. But this, as a stitching hoop, is beautiful. Quite tight, holding it very tight. This morning I went and got it out of the car. I couldn't even get it off. I can now, it's warmed up a little bit, but look, it's a rubber. They're rubber, and they sit on a plastic. Teaching all to suck eggs here. They sit on a plastic track, and the rubber, with the wood effect rubber, just clips on. They're quite hard to get on, but my goodness me, you get no slippage on these boys. Obviously it leaves a mark on the fabric. I don't think I'm ever going to want to clip stitching under them. I'm looking at one that I have clip stitching under, which you'll see in my WIP parade, something completely different that I didn't work on in December. I've worked on in December, but it wasn't part of Flossmas, just there. Anyway, I talk nonsense too. There we go. So there's where I am on the butterfly. I've got a little bit more to do on the butterfly. I'll put that back in my work bag and probably get her to 20% today. It's only 63 stitches to get 63? Yeah, 63 stitches to get a percent, so it's not too bad. Okay, and then I picked Night Walk Down. This was the day I went away because I was stitching on it in the car, and I hadn't worked on Night Walk Down for several years, but I have now. I love it, and I'm going to keep going. So with Night Walked Down, it's currently there, so I think about a quarter done, and it is change all the things, literally change all the things. Goodness, my sparkly needle minder, Mrs. Sader sent me that. That was the first ever needle minder I ever got with my darling silk. A long time ago now, 4 years ago now. I stitched her dress under the cat and stitched these little shapes in the dress, and then I did this leaf and this stem because I didn't have any, I was away and I didn't have any other colours with me that I wanted to put in here. So now I'm back, I can pick some other bits and I can carry on a little bit this year. I'd very much like to get the lady stitched. Is that a good goal for me for now? Just to get that lady stitched maybe. So night walk down, tiny bit of progress, but stitching on it when I didn't for years. And then I got, on the 15th, I got the B. Boy, did I like the B. The B is at 22.56%. Here is the B. Isn't it marvellous? So, a lot of body to go on the B, bits of antenna, colours in the legs, and then all the bits and bobs around the outside. You can see where this was the first one I put in this hoop, because I had another little stitch at it. But absolutely love it. It's at 22%. This was one of the ones I took up and over 20%, which I think if I'm going to work on all 6 of them, there are 10. If I work on all 6 of the ones I've started, I think that's what I'll do. I'll go, right, I'll take each one to 30%. I'll take each one to 40%, because obviously you can see the way I've been folding it, I've got 4 on this piece of completely see-through Ada, but I've got 4 of them on there. And I've got 2 on a different piece, so it's going to be very easy for me to chop and change them. Right, I need to leave that out to come with me to work. That's a pattern to go back in there. Okay, so the next day, the 16th, I picked up Lavender and Lace's Summer, which I hadn't worked on for a very long time either. And I worked on the words at the top here. So that's where she is, and I worked, the S was done and the U was started, so I've done the U box, the M and the line of the gold there to start the E. So I did do a little bit, I was in the car stitching, and that's what I got done. So that's what I got done. I think I should have done like tons more, but you know, I had a day. That's what I got done. She needs to go back into her bag. She has a bag. There's her bag. I can put her away now. I've got a full kit up of this. But I keep saying it. If you don't know me, I got on eBay and was beyond excited because it came with the needle paints. And it is a full of its time, ye oldie, vintage 1980s DMCs. There was a couple of DMCs missing, and I've got the beads. There was just a little bit of treasure braid missing, I think, but nothing I can't get hold of, so very happy to have that with me in my person. So then I picked out Shannon Christine's winter stamps, and that was a very short stitchy day. I did one, and I haven't even finished it. I did Santa hat, and I haven't even finished the border. These need doing. I will finish these into ornaments for the Christmas tree. Just little like, you know, just little stuffed ornaments, not stuffed ornaments, little bits on a piece of card, you know, felt back with a hanger for the Christmas tree. So of 12, I've not quite finished 3 of the 12 altogether. And then Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 Sal. I actually achieved my objective, which I was very pleased with, in that I finished March. So January, February, March is completed, which is a quarter of it done. That is showing so unbelievably pink. It's not that pink. I need the light to adjust. Come on, light. It's not that bright. I promise you, it's not fluorescent Barbie pink. It is. Here we go. Light's just changed a bit. DMC 333 and 155 I'm using. And now I have the whole pattern in Pattern Keeper, because before I was only downloading 1 month at a time. And I was only downloading the months as I got to them. So January, February, March. But now I went back on his site, logged in, and it downloaded it as a full pattern. So I did waste 20 minutes of my life colouring in, there we go, that's much more like it, colouring in the pattern in Pattern Keeper that I'd actually done. So now I can stitch anywhere I want on the piece, I can go straight down one side if I want. I don't have to stitch it in order. So March got finished, and this bit was kind of missing, I think. So I did do a little bit of that. That was very fun. Again, that's 40 count, it's one strand, it's perfect. Okay, then I pulled the wasp. Bug next. The wasp was the first one I put into Pattern Keeper. The wasp is at 29% because I love it. Here is the wasp. So I did quite a lot of the wasp, and the black on the wasp is done. It's not a gap. It has, there you can see there's stitching there. You can see the black. So I've done the black on the wasp. So I'm very, very happy with how the wasp got done, how much she got done. Oh good Lord, I need to work on the spider. I've just turned it over and there's a little tiny bit of spider. Then the next day I pulled the dove of peace, which was a hanger on a tiny little WIP from, goodness me, 2021 I think, and I finished it. So that's done. Again, that's going to be a little ornament that goes on the Christmas tree. So I finished that. It did take me quite a while, it took me all day. I did stitch in, the dove was not meant to be stitched, the dove was just meant to be background, and the word was not meant to be stitched, but I full coveraged it because I thought it looked so much nicer like that. So it says peace on earth, very Christmassy. This was meant to be gold. I just picked a nice goldy coloured DMC and just stitched. I just went for it. I didn't do the back stitch in black, it was meant to be black. I did it in 318, maybe 317, just a nice darkish grey. I didn't want it to be too dark. So I finished it. Woohoo, I finished. And that was 20th. 21st I pulled the spider. I need to work on the spider. So he needs to be taken up to 20%. This one will be going in my frame next to take to work to finish, to put some work into. He's at 979, so I need to do twice as much. I need to do the same amount of this again, and then I'll go back and start them again and maybe get them all to 30%. And by and by, I'll finish them. There we go. So I do have a full kit of my colours in my work bag. And I've got the colours for all of the patterns. So I can just, I'm going to put them together and keep them together now. And then I pulled on the 22nd What the Cat Saw. It's a tiny little full coverage piece from Lola Crow, and it is now here. So I've done quite a chunk. I worked in this colour here and got that bit of the sea done, and now you can see the outline of the cat. So I've got the rest of this, the sailing ship, the cat, which I'm going to colour convert to Eric, and there is wallpaper as well. So this I want to finish next year. This is going to be a 2024 because it is small, it needs to be off my WIP pile, it needs done. But I did remember it and pull it out and do a chunk of it, which was really good. And then my last new start was probably the big new start, which is a Renato Parolin pattern of the season's trees. I'm just going to see if I've got the paper. I should have the paper pattern cover. Of course I haven't. I should have. Anyway, I should have that. Not 100% sure why I don't have that, but never mind. No, I definitely don't. That's fine. I'll probably put a picture up of it. But I started this on a very big piece. I've got half a yard of vellum, picture this vellum, and it's here. I'm going to stitch all 4 of them in a row. So I've stitched some of the border and the top of the tree, and yeah, without stuff behind you won't be able to see that I've carried all my threads, which you can clearly see. I carry threads, I don't care, by and by. Can't see them, there, the light's better there. So I basically colour converted. So As I was about to show you my Renato Parolin tree progress, my video shut off. If it gets to half an hour, it cuts off. I'm going to have to set timers through my WIP parade. I need to do the video in chunks. For reasons unknown, my tablet won't record over 30 minutes. It gives me no warning. It just keeps recording. And then at the 30-minute mark, I just freeze. And all I get in the rest of my video is me like that. And sometimes it'll process. If I cut that bit off, sometimes it'll process and it'll work, and sometimes it won't. So if you're seeing this, it worked, and if you're not seeing it, my whole video was junked, and I wasted an hour of my life, and I could have been stitching. So I'm just going to pretend that that didn't happen. I'm going to carry on and show you my tree that I did on some of it on the 23rd and some of it on Christmas Day. So that's where I got to with that, which I was really happy about. And then the thing I pulled on Christmas Eve, put everything away now of course, wasn't until I finished editing the video, or got to the end of editing my video, did I realise it had all gone horribly wrong. On Christmas Eve, I pulled my tiny little Mill Hill kit on the piece of perforated paper, and I took it to work with me, and Jamie did a bit of stitching on it, and then couldn't find it, and I thought it must have fallen out of the car and got, you know, spoiled by the rain or something and lost forever. So I pulled a piece of fabric out, and over the course of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, Christmas Eve night and Christmas Day, here's Cosmo, who's now settled down for a sleep, haven't you, buddy? I stitched it and I finished it. So there it is. And then of course I went to my work bag to get something else out, and I found the piece of perforated paper. So I then offered that full kit up. I'll add some biocone beads into the bag. I offered the full little kit up with the piece of perforated paper in my start as a giveaway, which of course I've already drawn, because I drew it as I always do, because I always want people to know I'm doing it properly and not just picking randomly. And honestly, I did pick. I know who won. I'm going to send it to the person who won, because I don't think it's fair to then re-pick again and pretend like I didn't, because I feel bad forever. Anyway, so here we go. Here's my little finish, which I absolutely love. I'm so pleased with it. And I'm going to finish this as a little ornament and put it in the Christmas stuff, because it's kind of autumny, kind of Christmassy. Not Christmassy at all. It's kind of a rainy day. Very like today. And I did draw. Let's pretend I'm doing it. The person I drew was Jennifer, my friend. And it so rarely happens that one of my friends actually wins my giveaways, that I was gutted that I was like, oh, I didn't even screenshot it, because I generally do and put it up, because you can never see because the light's bad, but the light was really good. You could see it really clearly, and I'm like this in my video for 8 minutes. So that was a waste of time for me to have done it with, and didn't check that my video was okay. I just need to be mindful of it going over half an hour in future, especially for my WIP parade, because that is going to be well over half an hour long. So Jennifer, I have your new address. I will be sending you the kit. I'll put a few beads in. If you want to stitch on different fabric, that's fine. If you want to stitch on perforated paper, that's fine. And then you'll know the drill. Once you've finished, pass them along the bus to another stitchy friend, and we can all stitch him, because he's lovely. Yeah, Jennifer's most of the lovely Be Stitch Me fabrics, my modern folk embroidery and the new normal are on. She sent to me, so it's very unusual that somebody who I've had quite a lot of contact with wins a giveaway. So I'm going to stick to my guns, and you just have to trust me that that's what came up, because you know I don't make it up. Right guys, I'm gonna, hopefully you will be seeing this video. Hopefully it will save. It's currently processing, so hopefully it'll work out. I have to shoot and put my uniform on now and get myself to work, and I will see you very soon for my WIP parade. Thank you so much for watching me. Bye bye for now.